We are going to start with needing one of these ball cloches from the Dollar Tree and one of these gold candlesticks and a plate from the Dollar Tree. I've also got some of these 1/2-inch ball knobs I picked up from Hobby Lobby. And I'm just going to sand down this plate using a sanding sponge. That way I can get some of the glossiness kind of roughed up so that paint will stick better. One of the hardest parts was to get the sticker off of this cloche. Dollar Tree, what were you thinking? But anyway, I first tried heat. Do not do that. It will melt that plastic. So my plastic got a little disformed. However, I did find if you get that sticker off, pull it off as much as you can, and then use some glue gun, that will be your best bet. And just pour that glue gun on the spot, and I found it easier to rub it in with my fingers, and I can use my fingernails, kind of scrape away a little bit, and then just spray it down with some alcohol and clean it off. And then I just also use that alcohol to clean off the candlestick and the plate. And I think I forgot to mention that that plate is that hard plastic. Now to get that plastic piece off the top of the cloche, it does come apart. You just kind of have to finesse it apart. It's like two pieces and a little ring, and just pull it apart and it will eventually break free. Then with some linen white chalk paint, I am just going to paint that plate. And it took 3 coats, and also do the back, but in the center part, leave it free of paint because we are going to be applying some glue there. And then using some black chalk paint from Waverly, I went ahead and painted the candle base and 1 ball knob in that color. Then using some antique gold rub and buff, I am just going to distress over both those black pieces. Apply however much you feel you want. I didn't care too much for this gold color, at least on its own. So I then grabbed another rub and buff in the, I believe it was gold leaf. And I just added some of that gold leaf, just kind of mixing the 2 golds together to give it the desired look that I want. And that's just the great thing about painting. You can mix and match colors. You can paint over your mistakes. It's grand. It's awesome. And I'm not going to make you sit here and watch me antique this up. You get the picture. Just make it look how you want it to look. Then I attempted to distress the plate with some of that gold, and it was challenging because this whole cloche ended up going in a completely different route than what I was originally going to make it look like. It was originally going to be more farmhouse type look, and it went in a completely different way. So I've never distressed with gold on white before, and well, it was like I said, quite the challenge. I rubbed gold around the rim. I didn't like it. I rubbed it down the center, didn't like it. Then I used some of this gold metallic paint, thinking that would make it better. Didn't like it, painted over it. Just back and forth, until I finally did get the look that I could appreciate, to say the least. And yeah, so I ended up painting a lot of white back over it, but I did like that gold on the edges and just a little hint of it showing throughout the plate. Then I'm just going to take some Star Bond type super glue. I use the medium thickness, and I'm just going to put that down the center of the plate that we left open on the back side. And I'm also going to use just a little tad of hot glue just so I can get that short-term hold while I'm recording this project. And you're just going to want to push that down really well. And then I'm also going to use some of that Star Bond glue on the ball knob and a little bit of hot glue on that as well. And then just attach that to the top right in the center. And I just reached on the inside with a little spatula. That way I can push it together. And I think it turned out really cute. But now's the fun part, and it's time to decorate. And I've got one of these birds. Actually, I've got 2 of these birds that I picked up from Hobby Lobby, and they were $2.99 a piece. Plus, it was 40% off. So not a bad price, but I just took some chalk paint, white chalk paint, and I took 3 spoons, put it in a bowl, and then I added 2 spoons of baking soda to the bowl, and that was my ratio mixture for this, and just stir it up very well. And then we're just going to paint those birds with this mixture, giving it more of a textured type look and appearance. And I ended up doing 2 coats on each bird. So I've got some clear wax and some elephant chalk paint. And I am going to kind of mix them up together to give me a gray wax. That way it'll be easier, I think, hopefully, to distress these birds. It'll help that gray paint kind of glide better. And honestly, I just threw this gray paint on some of the high spots, wiped it off, kind of spreading it around. I ended up going back over it with some white paint because I thought it was too much gray. So you just distress it however much you want. And I'm just going to style it with this birdhouse I had crafted with. I had picked up from Hobby Lobby a couple years ago. It's just one of their little ceramic pieces that you paint. And I'm going to place those birds in there. And then I'm going to go ahead and make a very small bird nest. And to do that, I've just got some moss. And I'm just going to kind of spread it apart, pinch it, push it in, just kind of shape it into a bird nest. And it's when you start working with it, it's very easy, and you just get it to your desired look. And then when you're finished, just kind of trim around the edges, and when you trim it, it's when it really brings that appearance to life. And I'm just going to let you watch and see how I do that. Then I just have some of these foam Easter eggs that I had painted, and I'm just going to grab 3 of the kind of greenish blue color, and I've also got some Dollar Tree picks here. These are my absolute favorite, and I am just going to cut that apart just to kind of place here and there on the plate. And then I'm just going to grab some reindeer moss and just kind of shove into some empty spots here and there, covering up some of the white bottom, just giving it a little bit of greenery in there. And I really like the way that this turned out in the end. Even though I started out in a different direction, I was very surprisingly pleased. Let me know what you guys think in the comment down below. Okay, so the main components of this particular project is going to be 3 of these Dollar Tree candlesticks and then 2 of these high cloche domes. And I always like to spray my glass items down with some alcohol. All right, and then I am going to paint them using Dixie Belle's Fluff and their chalk mineral paint. And you can use any paint you want. You can use chalk paint in white, Rust-Oleum, Waverly, whatever floats your boat. This is just what I'm going to use if I can open it. All right, so I'm going to take all this tape and paper off of these cloches. Hopefully it's not too difficult.
So far, so good. Yay! I'm just going to take the glass off. Missed a piece of tape, plastic. And I'm just going to set those aside. And I'm going to paint this whole thing in the same paint that I'm painting the candlesticks. And I want to go ahead and clean that up with some alcohol first because they're pretty slick. All right, now we're just going to go ahead and paint this with the same color. Okay, so 2 of these candlesticks we're actually going to glue top to top, just like so. And before I finish painting these in that section, I'm going to go ahead and adhere it. And I am going to be using some Gorilla Clear Grip glue and then some hot glue. And I'm only using the hot glue just so I can continue on with this project while I'm filming. If you just want to use the Gorilla Glue, or you can use E6000. And if you just want to let it sit until it completely dries, then you go right ahead. All right, then once that's dry, you can go ahead and paint it. All right, and now I'm going to go ahead and distress it. And I'm going to go ahead and use Elephant to do the distressing with. I think I want more of like gray tones in it than anything. And just going to do a dry brush. So when you put your paintbrush in there, just get a little and then wipe most of it off. Around here, I just kind of want to put some more gray, and that's just because that seam, I don't want it to look like a blob of glue. And I think instead of wiping it, I'm just going to take some more of that fluff color. Just going to use the same brush, go over it, just kind of break it up a little. There, and that way it just kind of looks more blended in, more natural. Yeah, that looks really pretty. And if you ever feel you had too much on it, like I've always said, just kind of go over the piece again. We'll set those aside and let them dry. Then we'll go ahead and work on these pieces and kind of distress them up a little bit. See right there, I just got way too much. Way too much of that gray. So I'm just going to go back over it with the white. Kind of tone it down a little bit. Okay, and we're just going to set these aside to dry, or you can use your heat gun. So the next thing I'm going to do is, I feel like the top of the cloches needs something. So I've got some of these small wooden cups that I picked up from Hobby Lobby, and we are going to just put them right there, but I need to paint them first. Start with the Dixie Belle, and I'm just pretty much going to paint it to match the base. Just wipe the top down with some alcohol, get off any dust and grease. And I used a lint-free coffee filter to apply that. I learned this little trick from a girl, I can't think of her name, but her channel is called The Cricketer. And she comes up with some of the neatest projects using your Cricut machine, but she uses this, and I thought, wow, I didn't realize coffee filters were lint free. I guess I should have known that since I'm a coffee drinker. But we're just going to use some hot glue, and I'm going to glue that right on the center, covering this little indent. And I've got my glue on low. All right, and then I am going to take these bottoms of the cloche and attach. And I'm just going to use some hot glue for this as well. And then I am going to use some of this burlap trim from the Dollar Tree. And I'm going to use the top one. I'm going to wrap those around the center there. So I'm just determining how much I need to cut off. All right, I'm just going to take some hot glue, put a dab on there. And I think if we get it tight enough, you shouldn't need to put any more glue anywhere else besides the end, which is what I'm going to do right here. Just like so. And per usual, I'm going to just kind of run my lighter over that.
Next, I'm just going to grab some spackle, and I'm going to grab one of these Dollar Tree bunnies, and I'm just going to fill in that hole that they have there. And then I'm just going to paint it with that baking soda and white paint mixture that I used on the birds and cover it up. And then I'm going to distress it also using the elephant chalk paint.
Now to decorate it, the fun part. Okay, so I've got some bamboo skewer sticks that I've got cut a lot shorter than it originally is. And I'm going to just I'm going to want it to look kind of like a flower stem, but not too dark. So I'm going to take some green paint and some of that Dixie Belle fluff. I just need a little bit. It's just holly branch from Apple Barrel. I'm just going to put just one little drop. I just got this pretty light green. And I'm going to take this piece here that I'm going to use as the stem on a flower and paint that. Okay, and I've got some wood flowers here. I've had these for a long time. My daughter's wedding was back in 2021, and she bought a big old bag of wood flowers so I could decorate her wedding reception. So I've got a lot left. And one day I decided to dabble and paint these. And if you want to see how I painted these wood flowers, comment down below in the comment section and let me know. The first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to take that little dowel that we painted and I'm just going to stick the pointed part right in there. And then I am going to stick the flat part right in the center hole. These cloches just have a little hole in the center, and I'm just going to poke that right in there, just like so. And then I'm just going to play around with it. Just going to take a little bit of hot glue, attach that to the stem. Do the same thing to this one. And for this little one, I am going to use one of these little bunnies and then some more of these wood flowers. May
just have to finesse it a little bit and coax it to get in there.
All right, and these are complete. Oh, I think they're gorgeous. What do you guys think?
Alright, this next one, I don't know if you can really call it even a DIY. I had picked this egg cloche up at Hobby Lobby. It was $8.99, I believe, plus 40% off. Got some of these Dollar Tree carrots, and then I've got this little bunny I picked up. It was $3.99 at Hobby Lobby. And we're just going to take some pumpkin paint by Waverly and some white Rust-Oleum chalk paint, and I'm just going to mix those together to give me a lighter orange color. Just a pale orange, if you will. And then I'm just going to paint over the carrot, just lightening up that orange that's on there. And then just being very careful not to get it on the green. I just decided to leave the green leaves, paper leaves in these. Usually I change them out for some actual greenery, but it's just such a small project. I didn't see any reason to do so. And I'm also going to be using some moss, and I'm just kind of trying to get an idea how I want it to sit. The hardest part is the opening is so narrow and it's hard to get anything up in there. So what I found myself having to do was place the bunny in there and then a couple of the carrots, and then just kind of tilt the top up and squeeze in some moss. And then I was able to squeeze in that last carrot. I hope that makes sense. I guess you can see what I'm doing right here. But I hope you guys enjoyed these projects today, and let me know in the comments down below which one was your favorite. I'm guessing my favorite is probably the 2 candlestick cloches. I just love how those turned out. But again, let me know what you like down in the comment section, and take care, and I hope you guys have a fantastic day.